You must be very proud. Of trying, my mother-in-law smiled at our first meeting. You're from a different world, my father-in-law added. At the next meeting, I brought my mother and my husband's family went still when she said, I have one condition. Some girls grow up believing they'll marry into a better life. I didn't, because I was raised by the woman who built one. My mom ran a logistics company out of a converted warehouse just outside Portland. She didn't inherit it. She didn't marry into it. She built it from zero with 2 forklifts, a storage lease and a single employee. Herself and me. I grew up on shipping manifests and plastic-wrapped pallets. She was the kind of mom who worked 16-hour days and still made it home in time to braid my hair before bed. She didn't bring stress home, even though I knew it followed her like a shadow. When I had a science project due, she helped me finish it at 11 p.m. after balancing vendor payments. When I had a bad grade, she didn't scold, she printed out worksheets and studied with me at the kitchen table. We didn't have luxury. We had stability, no nannies, no new cars, no spring break trips, but we had safety, warmth and truth, and yet somehow, I still managed to fall in love with someone who came from everything I never had. I met Damien at a campus event my sophomore year. He was a year older, majoring in architecture, wearing a blazer and that quiet kind of confidence that came from never needing to worry about money. He asked me what I did outside of classes, and I said, mostly keep my mother's business from burning down. He laughed. I liked that. He didn't ask for details. I liked his smile. One coffee turned into several. One study session into weekend walks. He was gentle and curious, with a mind that wandered and a heart that didn't. I told him early on, I come with forklift grease under my fingernails and about 600 invoices in my inbox. He said, that's hot. We were opposites, but we balanced. He was calm. I was fire. He didn't mind that I couldn't always afford to eat out. I didn't mind that his apartment had designer lighting fixtures. He treated my mom with respect the first time he met her, and she didn't say much afterward. Just gave me a nod like all right, for now. After he graduated, he landed a job at a boutique firm in Seattle. I stayed back to finish my degree and help my mom expand into new warehouse space. We did long distance. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. Then one February night, he took me to this impossibly elegant rooftop restaurant in downtown Portland. There were candles and heavy silverware and a view that looked like a painting. I thought he was going to propose. He didn't. Instead, he said, I want you to meet my parents. My fork froze midair. He reached across the table, took my hand, warm and steady. I already told them we're serious, that I want to marry you, but you should meet them, and they should meet you. I studied his face. There was something nervous behind the smile, not fear, exactly, but hesitation. Is there something I should know? He exhaled. They're formal, especially my mom, Clarice, just don't take it personally. If she's a little cold, I should have seen it coming. The following Sunday, I drove alone to their home in Bellevue. Damien had gone ahead for some family prep, whatever that meant. I followed the directions through winding tree-lined roads into a gated neighborhood that looked like it had been pulled from a Nancy Meyers movie. The house wasn't large. It was grand. Every tile hedge and light fixture screamed curated wealth. It didn't intimidate me. It pissed me off. Clarice opened the door herself. She looked me up and down very politely, in that way rich women do when they're silently calculating your net worth by your shoes. You're Celeste, you're early. She said, punctual. That's good. Her smile was tight and shiny, no warmth, just manners. She led me through an entryway that smelled like lilies and leather and into a sitting room that clearly wasn't meant for actual sitting. Gareth, Damien's father, was by the fireplace, flipping through what looked like a portfolio binder. He didn't look up as I entered. Damien had to step out briefly. Clarice said, settling into a pristine cream-colored chair, but we're glad to have you. I sat carefully on the edge of an ottoman that looked more expensive than my first car. So she began folding her hands. Damien tells us you work with your mother. I do. She runs a logistics company. I've been helping since I was a teenager. Now I manage operations, mostly warehousing, compliance, vendors, scheduling, a family business. Gareth muttered, eyes still on his papers. I nodded. Yes, your father, Clarice asked, was gone by the time I turned 4. She offered a solemn little nod, like someone reacting to a moderately sad movie trailer. Your mother raised you alone, then she did everything I said, and she's still running this company, yes, though she's been handing more of it over to me. Clarice tilted her head. I see. There was a long pause, then very gently, she said, I hope you understand the world Damien comes from. It's a particular one. I blinked. Pardon? She smiled wider. He was raised with a certain expectation of legacy, of structure. It's not a judgment, just a reality. I didn't realize legacy required inheritance. She didn't flinch. That's not what I said. Gareth finally looked up. What she means is compatibility matters. You seem like a hard worker. That's admirable, but marriage is more than affection. It's alignment, financially, culturally. I echoed a little sharper than I meant, you come from a different world. Clarice said simply, you're industrious. That's rare, but long-term partnership. It needs shared roots. I stared at them both, heart thudding, Not from shock, but from fury. I appreciate your honesty, I said. Clarice leaned forward, still smiling. We just want the best for Damien. I'm sure your mother does too. She does, I said quietly, more than anyone I've ever met. Gareth added, it's better to be clear now than to entangle messes. Later, I stood. Their message was clear. I wasn't a fit, I wasn't family. I wasn't wanted. At the doorway, Clarice reached to shake my hand. Thank you for coming, Celeste, truly. I looked her in the eye and said, thank you for the clarity. Then I walked out into the cold, into my car, and gripped the wheels so tight my knuckles turned white. I wasn't going to cry, not for them, not ever. I didn't go home right away. I sat in my car for almost 20 minutes, engine off, staring at the kind of house that would never feel like home to someone like me. I thought about what Clarice had said, industrious, not a match, different world. Every word had been dressed in velvet but packed with glass. They didn't see me as a person. They saw me as an obstacle. I drove around aimlessly for a while, not ready to face my mom. I wasn't ashamed, not of myself, not of her, but I couldn't figure out how to say they treated us like dirt without setting fire to everything she built.